We're always told to look to great thinkers and leaders for inspiration, but what if the most powerful life lessons aren't found in books at all, but up in the sky? Today, we're going to dive into the fierce, focused mentality of the eagle, a true master of its domain, to see what its principles can teach us about living a higher, more purposeful life. So, right off the bat, the source material poses a really stark choice. Are you a parrot or are you an eagle? The parrot, it says, talks all the time but can't really fly high. But the eagle? The eagle is silent, and it has the sheer willpower to touch the sky. It's a powerful metaphor, and it really sets the stage for everything we're about to cover. So, keeping that choice in mind, we're going to break down 7 core mentalities of the eagle. Think of these as principles we can apply directly to our own lives to, well, help us soar above our own circumstances. All right, first up, vision and focus. These first 2 principles are all about your mindset, how you see the world, and just as importantly, who you see it with. The very first mentality is about choosing your company and choosing it carefully. Think about it. Eagles soar at these incredible altitudes, way up there, far from the sparrows and ravens down below. They just aren't interested in flying in a flock of small birds. So, what does that mean for us? It's pretty simple, really. Stay away from narrow-minded people. Those who drag you down will keep you grounded. You've heard the saying, right? The people you surround yourself with will ultimately shape who you become. If you want to fly high, you've got to fly with other eagles. And that whole idea of a high-altitude perspective, well, it connects perfectly to the second mentality, which is all about the power of focus. An eagle can spot and lock onto its prey from up to 5 kilometers away. Just try to imagine that level of laser-like clarity and concentration. The lesson here is crystal clear. You need to have a vision for your life and then remain relentlessly focused on it. It doesn't matter what obstacles get in your way. An eagle never loses sight of its target. And if you can maintain that same kind of intensity and focus on your goals, you will succeed. Okay, next up, let's talk about how eagles show this incredible strength when they're faced with adversity. This is all about facing challenges head-on. So mentality number 3, it's all about fearlessness. An eagle will never ever back down just because its prey is too big or too strong. It will always put up a fight to win, whether it's for food or to defend its territory. There is just no surrender in its vocabulary. And you can see how this applies to our own lives, right? It doesn't matter how huge your problems seem, don't give up. The most successful people are fearless in this exact way. They confront their challenges directly. They face them head on instead of trying to run away. Mentality number 4 is, for me, maybe the most inspiring one. When a storm starts to gather, most birds panic. They hide in the trees. But eagles get excited. They actually use the powerful winds of the storm to lift themselves higher and higher, soaring above the clouds where they can just rest their wings. So what's the takeaway here? High achievers don't just endure challenges, they actually relish them. They see storms not as something to be afraid of, but as an opportunity, a powerful force they can actually use for their own growth and to rise to a whole new level. All right, let's keep building on this. The next 2 principles are all about how an eagle maintains its dominance. It's about staying sharp and constantly pushing your boundaries. The 5th mentality is about integrity and freshness. Eagles do not scavenge. They only eat what they kill themselves. They have zero interest in leftovers or the accomplishments of others. And for us, the lesson is huge. Don't get complacent by just relying on your past successes. Those past wins are great, but they're in the rearview mirror. Like the eagle, we have to keep hunting for new frontiers to conquer, new goals to achieve. Now on to mentality number 6, and this one's about how eagles raise their young. The mother eagle literally makes the nest uncomfortable for her kids. She starts removing the soft grass and feathers, forcing the eaglets to face this discomfort that will eventually push them to learn to fly. And that right there illustrates a universal truth. You have to leave your comfort zone. Growth is not a comfortable process. The nest has to become unbearable before that young eagle is finally willing to take that huge leap of faith. And you know what? The same is absolutely true for us. And that brings us to our final and maybe the most dramatic mentality of all. This is the ultimate story of transformation, which happens through pain and renewal. See, when an eagle gets old, its feathers, its beak, and its talons all become weak. It can't fly as high or hunt as well as it used to. And at this critical point, it faces a choice: die
or endure an incredibly painful process of rebirth to regain its vitality.
Now, it's really important to say that this story is a powerful allegory, a myth that's been passed down, rather than a literal biological event. But the lesson it holds is so profound. The process described is intense. The eagle flies to a mountaintop, where it plucks out every single weak feather. It breaks its own beak and claws against the rocks. It is a brutal process of destruction. And then it waits in hiding for everything to regrow, before emerging stronger and ready to fly higher than ever before.
And man, this speaks to such a deep human truth, doesn't it? Real transformation isn't just about adding new skills. It's about the difficult, often painful process of subtraction. It's about consciously identifying the parts of ourselves, those old habits, the limiting beliefs, the comfortable but stagnant relationships that are weighing us down. It's an act of pure courage to let go of a part of your identity to make space for the person you're becoming.
So, that brings us to the final and most important question. Looking at your own life, what are the old, weak feathers that you need to find the courage to pluck?